Within the Sharespace art scenario this year, we presented 2 works at the Ars Electronica Festival 2025. The first, Converge 2, developed by the researchers and artists at the Ars Electronica Future Lab, is a rework of a piece created last year. The second is Foolish Flame, which is produced by a team of Irish artists led by Peter Power and Liam Butler, and is the result of the Sharespace Open Call 2024. As mentioned before, Converge 2 is a rework of Converge, shown at the Festival of 2024. Like last year, collaboration between a remote motion-captured performer and on-site participants in a Deep Space 8K is central. After our experiences at the 2024 festival, we wanted to remove the on-site moderation and make the nature of the collaboration between the remote actor and the players on-site clearer.
Please, I need your help. Step into the lights.
Therefore, we introduced new interaction possibilities and gave the whole piece a visual and aesthetic upgrade. The remote performer is full body motion captured and immersed in full virtual reality through a head-mounted display. The performer can move freely around and control an avatar visualized in a deep space environment. Furthermore, we introduced a one-directional audio stream from the performer to the deep space to enrich the interaction and collaboration of the piece.
I think they're coming again. We got this.
The tracking system Fares allowed the on-site participants to interact with the virtual world and their avatars, thereby non-verbally communicating with the remote performer. The remote actor is immersed in full VR and located in a different space than the on-site players in a deep space. However, they all collaborate through their avatars. This mixture of physical and digital realities and technologies make Converge 2 a true example of a shared hybrid space.
Foolish Flame was a XR installation work that was based on the idea of climate collapse, cultural memory, and the idea that climate and heritage are both in a very endangered place and can be very similarly at risk. And it was framed around the Irish heritage of our traditional instruments, traditional dance, our language, and also widening that story out into this idea of the myth of the will-o'-the-wisp or the foolish flame, which is a pan-European myth about a gatekeeper between people and nature. There was a few points of interaction in the work. The opening interaction was where the audience were walking in this kind of field of pollen, and their physical presence was tracked and had a causality in the space. So they would kick up this pollen and it would sort of bind itself to them or push it out of the way. Ultimately, that pollen was kicked up to such a ferocity that it went on to disturb the presence of a living creature in the world. And that disturbance then led to that creature having its life ended, sort of as a representation of how even accidentally we can affect nature in a way we don't intend. The second interaction was the audience had the opportunity to meet a living digital avatar and perform a digital ceremony of dance. The avatars were trained on heritage footage of an old form of Irish dance called sean-nós, and then the audience's interactions would allow them to unknowingly select forms of the creature's capacity to dance, and it would augment their movement depending on which direction and which kind of speed they chose to move at. So they went from being very normal human beings to being explosively talented dancers in the world of Foolish Flame. There were two forms of dance in the work. One was a form of motion capture with a dancer called Robin Byrne, and she actually had this process of what we called human in the loop, where we got her to respond to the dataset training of a machine learning model of Irish sean-nós, and she reinterpreted what she saw the machine learning and formed her own choreography, which we then went on to capture and feed back into the dataset itself to add this sort of human returning meaning back into the AI kind of constantly to create this, what we called human in the loop. It was a piece that was not reliant on saying anything. The telling was done through movement and through image and through sound. And in order to achieve that, often you need to immerse people. And that can be quite hard to achieve in different types of space. And there's a lot of work has to go into immersion. But with the deep space infrastructure, it's sort of naturally immersive. And so it allowed us to lean the work into that strength of the space.